Harden, though, now.
Yeah, as we mentioned, no stranger to trades, right? After being drafted by OKC and spending his first 3 seasons there with the Thunder, they traded him to the Rockets in 2012. He went on to play 9 seasons in Houston, and then the Rockets were the longest stop of his career because he was an all-star every season. He won an MVP, and then in 2021, he was traded to Brooklyn, where he hooked up with Kevin Durant. That reunion, though,
that was short-lived.
It didn't last long because after a year there, he gets traded to the Sixers. He reached the Eastern Conference semis with Philly twice, but that's as far as they could go in a very short-lived era. And then guess what? He was in Philly about as long as he was in Brooklyn because in 2023 they moved Harden to the Clippers as part of a 3-team trade. Now, they made the playoffs in his first 2 seasons, but both were first-round exits. And now, traded again. This time, Clippers again, sending him to Cleveland. He's going to pair up with Donovan Mitchell, a Cavs team that's right now 5th in the Eastern Conference standings. All right, so Iman Shumpert joins us once again here on SportsCenter. So when I tell you that James Harden is going to Cleveland, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Well, the first thing that pops into my mind is you now have 2 ball-dominant guys pairing up again. And though they're high-powered, I've seen, sometimes it doesn't go as we think it's going to go when you have 2 ball-dominant guys. I think the one thing that I left out earlier when I was discussing James Harden with the potential of him going to the Cavs is how much better he makes your bigs. James Harden is tremendous in the pick and roll. He's tremendous with passing the ball to his big. He usually finds his favorite one that can catch lobs around the rim. That takes away a lot of the help options that you try and bring to him when he goes to his ISO. So he definitely adds something offensively. It's just the initial defensive hit that they're going to hit. I can't ignore it, and in the playoffs, that's what they need. That's what pushed them far. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of rhythm they can get in with that backcourt.
I get the impression you don't like the trade. It's a decade, so the Clippers get younger. When you look at style of play there, how does Darius Garland fit in with Kawhi?
I really like it. I don't think it adds anything for right now. I don't see this team right away igniting and then making a huge playoff run, but I do see that getting somebody that's younger and getting somebody that can get downhill, get to his shot, a willing passer and willing to learn and willing to grow. I think Darius Garland, with some of the injury woes this season, he might have needed some fresh air, who knows. But now that he's back in a rhythm, I think he's one of those exciting players that fits well in LA. So I'm excited to see how it goes. He's going to be playing next to Kawhi Leonard, who's been a proven champion, as well as just a proven decision maker down the stretch, and he's going to grow a lot from being in that role.
All right, for those of you just joining us as we approach the top of the hour here on SportsCenter, Briscoe and Eves joined by Iman Shumpert. Big news out of the NBA. James Harden going to Cleveland in exchange for Darius Garland and a second-round draft pick. Iman, let me ask you this. Let me go back to James Harden for a second, because as I mentioned, he's now switched teams 4 times in 5 years. And every place he's been, it was supposed to be something, and it fell short every single time. Now, look, I know that a lot of guys don't care so much about legacy, and I'm not sure how much James cares about how people perceive his career. But let me ask you this. From a player standpoint, when you think of James Harden's time in the league, it's almost, 16, 17 years now, how would you define his overall career?
Well, I'll say this. He's got a hell of a resume anyway. But even the little blemish that he doesn't have a championship, he could put some toothpaste on it and be all right, man. I think he could just, whatever little problems he got on there, just take it off. Don't worry about it. James Harden has scored the ball in an elite clip, and then he has developed a ISO dribble package for not himself, but for all young kids growing up. We talk about it all the time with Steph Curry shooting the amount of threes he does, how kids now think about the game as, I'm going to shoot first and then get to getting in the lane and showing you the rest of my game, but I'm going to start off with a jump shot. I think James has also changed the game in saying, in the ISO package, you know what's coming. It's just, what are you going to do, and then what's my chess move going to be to get out of it? He's as good in the ISO as anybody, and then off a pick and roll, making a big man way better. You see, he always has a big man that he's making better. So I look at his career and I say it's a great career, well done whenever he decides to stop. But I mean, of course, that shiny trophy next to your name is always going to do you
Everybody
right.
wants that. I mean,
Shiny
look,
trophy, that ring.
yeah, I mean, he's going to the Hall of Fame. There's no
Yeah.
question about that. But
Right.
who doesn't want to play for a championship,
And again,
right?
all of these moves are
Man.
happening ahead of the trade deadline, which is Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern. This is just a small piece of the puzzle. There were other moves today. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, so as you might expect, the odds makers from DraftKings Sportsbook, they took notice of what happened with the trade. So the Cavs, they were 22-1 to win the title today. That was the 8th shortest odds. Now they're 12-1, tied with the Knicks for the 3rd shortest odds between the Thunder and the Nuggets. So as of right now, Vegas sees them as a toss-up between them and the Knicks potentially getting to the NBA.
For James Harden. There's also a second-round pick thrown in there as well. So 26-year-old Garland, 36-year-old Harden goes to the Cavs. See how this works out.
I mean, James gives them more size in Cleveland, a little more availability, different dynamic offensively. That is a third, I wouldn't say third option, second or third option. He's a really good facilitator. You know, he could play just point guard out there. He hasn't missed a playoff career in his career. He hasn't missed a playoff game or a playoff opportunity in his career. This is his opportunity to keep that going, because in LA over here with the Clippers, we weren't sure if that was for sure going to happen. But they were building good chemistry in LA. They turned it around, but he's still playing at a high level at 36 years old, 37, wherever he is. Darius is also very good, young. He just has to get available. It does shake a lot of things up for the Clippers side, chemistry-wise. But all in all, this is a good move for the Clippers as well, and trying to get youth and getting back to, I wouldn't say starting over, but having something fresh, you know, in their group.
James Harden wanted an extension as well, James, and obviously the Clippers has reported.
Yeah, individual
willing to go there
players
yet.
are, you know, they're negotiating in their careers now. And he wanted something that the Clippers obviously didn't want to give him. You know, Cleveland gets an experienced player. You know, a guy that can get it done. If they're trying to make some noise this year in the playoffs, they're going to with James Harden. He's going to give them another dimension. But Clippers are getting a player that's 10 years younger, a really good player when, as Danny said, when he's available. I think Cleveland's going to get a little bit more right now. The chemistry for the Clippers was pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be
with
interesting.
James Harden in that lineup.
They
They're
get
a big
younger.
part of it. So we'll see how it works out.
All right.
In on the James Harden experience. Did you not see all the other stops that happened before this? But I guess the Cavs are saying that they'd rather have him than kind of hope that Darius Garland, who's been hurt for a while, is going to get healthy sooner than later.
So on the topic of James Harden, it's, as you pointed out, right? You're not sure how long it's going to last. So how long it's going to last. If you're the Cavaliers, you're hoping that, listen, you strike gold in this season, pair him up with Donovan Mitchell, you know, Evan Mobley, and they win a title, because you just don't know how long it's going to last. What do you think about the fit with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden as your backcourt duo?
I mean, they're scoring in bunches, right? I mean, Donovan Mitchell has talked about the fact that he could use some help in terms of, you know, being on the ball, scoring the ball. There's been a lot of offensive firepower and a lot of shouldering the offensive load that Donovan Mitchell's been asked to do this season because of injuries up and down the roster, including and especially to Darius Garland, who's only played 26 games because of a toe injury. Evan Mobley, last year's Defensive Player of the Year, he's been in and out of the lineup. And so Donovan Mitchell's been asked to do a lot. Now, James Harden, he's been available. He's been a good scorer. He's an excellent passer. That's going to really up the offensive oomph for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, you look in the Eastern Conference, right? Like, Cleveland has been pretty uneven this season, but they're now just starting to find their way. So I think, like, just having somebody of James caliber, or James Harden's caliber in the lineup does wonders for the Cavs. And I think they probably look at the East and go, look, it was disappointing last year when they get bounced out of the playoffs. They come in this season thinking that they're the favorites in the Eastern Conference. Nope, that's not the case. They're just now into the top 6 in the Eastern Conference, where they're looking around going, okay, maybe we can get home court advantage in the first round. Top 4 seed would be good for them. So they think, okay, well, we're not going to wait around on Darius Garland, even though he's a decade younger than James Harden. We're going to bring in James Harden, and as you said, Chris,